Chris, Asaf, friends with
Hello.
us. Hello, live
Hey,
and on the recording. We
live.
have the wisdom
Yeah,
of Kabbalah that found us after all these thousands of years, thank God, hidden
yeah.
away for a long time. And it's being revealed in our generation. There are no limitations on who can approach this anymore. We here at the Great Transition are talking about what's going on in life in 2022 through this eternal prism that the wisdom of Kabbalah, this new perception of reality. That actually the world kind of stays as it is, and our perception of reality changes, and then the world that we see changes. So welcome to our show where that's what we're talking about. We love seeing your comments. We love seeing you here with us. We love reading the comments throughout the week for anyone who's watching the recording. So welcome to our Thursday afternoon Eastern Time show. Guys,
Very nice.
I was in this incredible city. You may have heard of it. It's called New York. I go there a lot
Oh,
for work. Yes,
used to
you
be
Oh
probably
used to
yeah,
be a
probably
big deal.
it's still incredible.
big deal.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
so a lot has changed. Before COVID, I used to go, had to work there a lot more. During COVID, I stopped completely. Because I've been going back like once a week or so now.
Why? Because
And
you
yeah,
wanted to, or just because
I had to
you?
see people. Like there's a time where nobody wanted to see anybody. Everybody was working for home, whatever. Now, if you don't see people from time to time, they think you don't exist.
Right.
Right. So um, I was walking to see a client in an area that's really well known for upscale retail, jewelry, clothing, things for the home, beauty salons, it's like a very nice neighborhood on the Upper East Side of New York. Parking now in New York is totally terrible. I didn't solve why. I can't figure it out. I think probably a lot less people on public transportation, like tons of people. I haven't been down there, so I don't know. But tons of people used to take the trains in every morning from Jersey, from Connecticut, from the boroughs, take the buses in. I think a lot more people must be driving their own cars now. Maybe it's more sanitary to travel in your own car. I don't know why. I'm not clear about why, but there's so much more traffic. So getting around the city is terrible. Parking
Hmm.
is super difficult. It's expensive. So I had to park about 15 blocks from where my meeting was going to be.
Oh,
So I ended up
15
walking.
blocks.
It's not
For the
actually, I
layperson, what
thought,
is
Yeah.
that, like 30
But
minute walk?
so parking in New
uh,
York is basically either expensive or annoying. Choose what
yeah,
choose your
Right.
but I
destiny.
thought I'm constantly justifying everything to make it good. So I was like, all right, well, I'll get some steps in today instead of sitting on my ass in front of my computer or in front of my steering wheel. I'll get to
Yeah.
walk. So I was like, okay, this is going to be good. It was a sunny day. Uh, I passed beautiful people and beautiful shops and gorgeous buildings and all these things. People sitting in front of the coffee shop, chatting. The people spilling out of the coffee shop, having sandwiches and coffee on the street. Over here is a giant crane. Actually, the guy operating the crane, they have huge cranes to move things when they're working on buildings. The guy operating a crane was wearing a cowboy hat. I'm like, oh, that's cute. He's operating like this huge machinery. He feels like a cowboy there in the middle of the
So
city.
observant that day.
Yeah. Anyway, there's people walking, women walking with their yoga mats, and it seems like it's happening, but if you look kind of to this side or this side as you're walking, it had to be like 30% of the storefronts are vacant. This is Madison Avenue between in the 60s to the 70s, 60s, 61, 62, all the streets up between the 60s and 70s. Sometimes an entire block. So the ground floor in New York and most of these buildings is retail stores, and then all the stories above it is apartments typically, or offices. This neighborhood is mostly apartments. So the ground floor, you're walking. It's usually was before, I guess, luxury. This I don't know what. It's like a very kind of upscale neighborhood. Empty, 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 empty. Sometimes the entire
Empty as
block.
in this is for
Nothing.
rent. This is
Vacant.
to you can
Yeah,
buy.
for rent, for lease, exactly. I felt between these two, here's a coffee shop, here's one block where stuff is happening, and there's construction, and and then you walk another block, and it's just like totally vacant. I felt like not like sick, but like nauseous and kind of dizzy.
I know
It
what you mean,
felt
like a bad
so
vibe.
disorienting. I was so
Man.
disoriented by this, so much like
So
cognitive
so
dissonance. Like,
to that
what
area
is
in New York, it feels very dystopian.
not just that for me. I don't know. Everyone else seemed to be pretty normal. I know that other people have to be, in a, wonder what's going on. But not just that neighborhood. But that neighborhood, it was really clear. There's many neighborhoods where it's vacant, 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 and it's weird because it's like something's happening, but there, it's just we're acting like something totally. Everything is totally normal.
Hmm.
Mm.
You ever here's a fun one. You ever been driving somewhere? Maybe you're going to like a conference for the weekend. Maybe you're going to like visit a relative and you have to be in the car for a couple hours. You're like an hour out on your trip, you're eating something, like, oh, like something falls, like a piece of the chocolate bar falls. You're like,
Yeah.
oh crap. You try and like grab it and you're like,
Story
oh
story
God.
of my life. Yeah.
It's like it's on my pants and it's on the car seat. So now I'm driving. Okay, I'm like managing the driving, and I know I have the chocolate in my hand. I notice there's chocolate like, on my pants in the car seat.
And wait, is it
It's
still a hopeful situation? Like, can I still
it's
salvage
in.
the?
You try and scrape some of it off, but some of it's
What is
in the
it? What
pants
is it?
already
Is it
and
a
on the car.
milkshake?
Just
Is
a
it a?
melting. No, it's like a chocolate. It could be. It's like a melting
Right.
chocolate bar. Let's say. Okay.
Okay.
Part of
All
it is
right.
in your pants, and part of it's in the seat. It's
Staying
happening.
for the
Oh
rest of the day
no.
for sure.
Oh
No
no.
doubt.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you're driving.
Oh
Listen,
no.
you're an hour from home. You have
Yeah.
an hour to go. You're on the highway. There's nothing to do about it now. So there's like you just make peace. You're like, I'm just, it is what it is. And not only that, you have the chocolate bar still in your hand.
Okay.
So it'd be a shame.
Are you
just
mad
have to
at?
throw-
Are you mad at? You got to throw it out.
No, you have to make
gotta
peace.
get
You have to either you suffer for the next hour thinking about how stupid you are in your pants
Right.
and how am I going to get out of the car seat and I only brought one other pair of pants for the weekend and what am I going to do? And if anyone sees me when I get out of the car, it looks like what happened. But you have the chocolate. You kind of have to make peace in order to keep driving for the next hour. You're not going to be frustrated for the next hour. And you still have the chocolate bar in your hand.
Yeah, I'll keep eating it.
So you just keep eating
that's
it.
right.
You
I'll
just keep
totally.
going. You
Yeah,
just
I'll
keep
just
going.
go. I'll just. Yeah.
That's the logical
This is-
step.
I mean,
It's like-
maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
I
I
agree.
would even I would go like, okay, let's eat this chocolate and enjoy the rest of it, ignoring the situation that just happened, that is just
If
happening,
more even,
and I'll
if
deal
more
with it
even falls
later.
on the pants, that's fine too. Even I've broken the ice. Yeah, I've broken the ice. If more even gets on the pants, I'm not kidding. I might even be more happy because I have I'm free again. I'm like, that's
You
it. I
came
have
to
no
terms with
cares.
it.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. That's what being.
Wait, what felt like that?
That's what walking down the street was like. It's like, what am I gonna do? I should enjoy it anyway. I'm here. Like I want to go into that coffee shop where all those people are. I did walk in. I walked out because I was going to a meeting, but I wanted. What's going on here? Like everyone's going in there. Everyone's hanging, sitting outside, having such a good time. You're like, yeah, but is it? Is this whole thing falling apart? Like, what's going on? I don't understand what's happening. But
But everyone on the
everyone's
outside seemed
smart.
normal, but maybe on the inside they were having the same
I don't
things
know.
that you were going through.
I don't know what they were going through.
So
on the inside.
possibly on the inside, a lot of people today are feeling like that chocolate already hit my pants, but
And
you
the
know,
car
and
seat, and the
in the
car
car, it's in the and the car seat, and it's all that's where it's going. That's where
There's
that
still some pleasure
that's-
in my hand that
Yeah.
I can eat right now, and
Yeah.
exactly, and that could be characteristic not just of New York, but a lot of areas of human engagement and any human activity today in the world are like that.
hold on. There's a
Very
there's a
visceral
there's,
example.
there's a difference though, because some places, like for example, Pakistan a few weeks ago and Florida last night, I think there's like a couple million people who were just flooded by the storm. Like once that happens, like
Right.
there's no chance to eat the chocolate bar. Like
Oh,
when
that,
nature,
that's already that you're
then you're over.
That's a
But then
car
there's this other
accident.
place-
No chocolate.
Yeah.
No car. Nothing. Yeah.
Right. But there's this other place where it's like, it's kind of like we're being flooded, but for some reason, it didn't smack me in the face yet. And I'm still able to carry on.
That's good.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good. Okay. Now I think I can really relate to the metaphor emotionally, because I do think that a lot of us all over the world feel somewhat in some way that you know, the chocolate already stained the car seat, and we're like, we still have a ride, and you know, let's try to enjoy what we can, but something's, you know, something's going down, it's bad. And we feel it in many areas of our life.
What's
And
the Shaul told me this expression that the Polish Jews have. It's like, oh, how you doing? It's like, could be worse, and probably will.
that's great. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. All right.
There's
This
that John
is-
Mayer song. You like John Mayer, Seth? You like? Are you a John
I
Mayer
didn't
fan?
get into. I never got really into.
Never
it.
got into him. He had this song called "Something's Missing," and he's like, "Something missing," and then he'd go like, "Money check," and it'd be like, you know, car check, wallet check, and just go through the list. And you're like, "Why am I? What's missing?" Yeah.
Oh.
Nice one, John Mayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So from melting chocolates in on car seats to
Terrible. Terrible.
to other problems in the world that have a similar effect, obviously worse. There is a letter or an article. It's kind of a letter to humanity or an article that was written by the son of Carl Sagan. I wasn't familiar with you know, who Carl Sagan's son is, but apparently he has a son. His name is Samuel or Sam, and together with another person named Andrewian. Let me tell you what they are. Wait a second. So Sam Sagan is the son of Carl Sagan, and he's a writer and producer for television these days. I think he's also involved in the new edition of Cosmos, which is, you know,
There's a new edition. I didn't even
there
know
is
that.
with Neil deGrasse
Nice.
Tyson. Yeah, I think
I had no
there was
idea.
like 2 seasons of that. Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
I watched a few episodes. Not bad. I mean, it's science, cool, you know, and basic science. So together with Andrewian, who is a she serves as the creative director on NASA's Voyager interstellar message. She's also a writer, director, producer. Anyway, they wrote together a letter / article that is kind of a call for something. It's titled on futurism.com, "The Human Family in Crisis." Let me just read to you a couple of paragraphs to you and to all our viewers and listeners. So this is titled "The Human Family in Crisis," and there's a subtitle here that goes like this: "There's a pervasive and growing feeling that the human enterprise
That Madison Avenue.
is is in a death spiral." So let's read a couple of paragraphs of that, just the exposition here, and let's just read and then see where we take it. So it goes like this: "Across the political spectrum, there is a pervasive and growing feeling that the human enterprise is in a death spiral. It's 113 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona, no surprise there, but also in Medford, Oregon. Microplastics have been found in remote Arctic plateaus, the depths of the ocean, trenches, and in the placenta of the newborn. Even the raindrops and snowflakes are full of poison. An aging tyrant has made a desperate play to expand his borders, plunging the global economy into chaos as he hints at nuclear holocaust. Meanwhile, a handful of oligarchs dream of fleeing this planet for the stars as if Earth was some disposable stepping stone for their adventures. Here at home, unscrupulous ideologies deprive women of their right to health care. A free and fair election has come close to being overturned. We can't even agree on the virtue of keeping insurgents off the Senate floor. Not since the Civil War has our democracy seemed so fragile. The left points to our unsustainable carbon emissions, rapidly deteriorating environment, and the widening gap between the billionaires and the rest of us. The right points to the overreach of government on health, worship, speech, and education. They lament the decline of cherished institutions such as the traditional family and other ancient trusted social norms. Young and old struggle with a pandemic of fatalism, a feeling that we have no future. An extraterrestrial anthropologist scrolling through Gen Z's Instagram memes or watching the dystopias of popular fiction might reasonably conclude we are a moribund species. And moribund means dying, right?
You're like bound for
Like
death.
bound for death. Yeah.
So, what do you make of that? That hits hard, doesn't it? I mean,
It's different than hearing a scientist write it. You know, it's not like science. It's in a language that
yeah.
it has a lot of emotion behind it.
Yeah, he's not just talking, not lamenting from the left side. I mean, although he did, kind of have a little bit
Yeah,
of a
maybe a
position,
little bit.
Yeah, I think
But-
so, but that's probably just because of how he grew up and things like that. But it seems like he really made an effort to not be from one side or the other, but just to show that it's really a bad situation if you just try and objectively look at what's going on in the news or what's going on around the world. We're in a bad situation.
And he gave he and Druin wrote it together. So they give very quickly. They ran through a bunch of many big things that are happening in the world. But even without getting into the details of those things, I think they captured something more than that. I think they captured a feeling that a lot of people have. I don't know if people call it death spiral. I don't know if people, are even thinking about what an alien would, how an alien would look at our civilization at the moment. But there is a feeling of where is this world going? Lack of direction. Concern, uncertainty.
It's like it's like it's kind of like something that maybe doesn't ever leave us, but we're kind of like getting used to it. We all get used to something. Even if you're a soldier in Ukraine, you're getting used to the war over there already, or even a civilian somewhere stuck inside you're getting used to it. Doesn't mean that the situation's any different. And so we're sitting maybe in this situation that's kind of new that just came out with the PFCs or whatever it is, where it's now everywhere. It's in the rainwater. Like I think we even did a show about it.
I think they mentioned it in one sentence, but there is real research these days coming up showing that rain has become toxic, and it's a global phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon.
I think you said in one show that every year a person eats a credit card's worth of microplastics.
Yeah, that's every week. Every week, not every year.
Every
You
week?
said year? Every week.
This must be, listen, nature must have a
insane.
plan to be upgrading us.
Look, if upgrading our credit framework, how do you call it? Look, I looked at this text a couple of times before today, since Monday when this was sent to me, and besides being, it's very well written and everything, they're listing everything they're listing here as issues. It's literally big things that are worsening, that are getting worse at the same time. And this is very unprecedented. We were never, as a global society, I don't think that the human family indeed was ever, under that kind of pressure. It's not a specific war between empires. It's many global things. The climate crisis is getting worse. Nuclear threat. 2022, you thought, things will be better and more safe. The world will be safer the more we advance. No, that threat.
Right, COVID came, and then it's like we could have come out of COVID, but instead of COVID ending, we're like going into a financial freefall and possible nuclear war.
There you go. Economic disparity. That's another huge thing. The widening gap between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots, and so on. It's growing to extremes. The numbers that you see today, like, how many people hold how much wealth and all that. It's just becoming a very, very crazy imbalance. Political distrust obviously worsening. Just distrust in the lack of trust in the media and information and, all your sources of information also worsening. Social polarization, how people, from the from different sides of the political spectrum feel about each other.
Bill Gates just said that I don't know where he's getting his information from, who he's listening to or whatever, but he said there will be a civil war.
Wow,
And he gave a
that's
couple of examples why. He
I'm
said there
saying
will
wow
be a
because
civil war.
it is a big
Yeah.
thing for him to say such a
For him to
statement.
say it. Yeah. I mean, just imagine, first of all, you just said the polarization. Just imagine you're going to the voter. Where do you go to vote? What are those places that you call that you go
Ballots.
to a voting state? No, but a place you go to. You have to go to a
You're
certain,
right. Okay. Yeah, look at the place
don't
where you
know,
go to cast your ballot. Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine that. So you're coming with all this tension. You see the other party there, the other side there. Maybe there's some kind of rift, some kind of thing. Somebody catches on video, someone punching somebody. Maybe even someone gets killed, God forbid, something like
Right.
that. And it just spreads. I'm talking specifically about the
Wow.
election. Just so much tension, and
Wow.
they're meeting each other there. Think about what's happening on
What's
Facebook.
crazy is
you
it
meet that
sounds
in
like
real life.
it sounds like such a realistic scenario. When you just described it now, I'm
Yeah.
like, that can totally
Yeah.
happen. I totally see this happening
Let
easily.
me show
Yes.
you, guys. Let me show you a phenomenon that's happening all over the place in New York. Now, by the way, I'm going to also, I'm going to show you some pictures. Well, I'm not going to show you a picture of that. It'll take too long. But I'm going to show you something. When I was in New York that same day, I went into the pharmacy. You can't access anything in the pharmacy anymore. Everything is behind clear.
What do you mean, like
doors.
CVS or Walgreens or something?
Is Dwayne Reed? Yeah, exactly. Same thing. You want toothpaste. You want dental floss. You want eye drops. You want something for your headache. You want shampoo. You want razor blades. Everything is now behind a thing. There's buttons on every aisle. You push a button and someone comes over and unlocks the thing so you can get your items, because this is happening all over the place. Hold on. Unshare just a second.
So you're saying the
it's-
products on the shelves are locked. They're like in cages of some sort, which wasn't the case.
Same products are there. There's a clear door over everything now.
Uh-huh.
Have you
Oh,
seen
like
this?
plexiglass, kind of.
Yeah, we see it. Can you make it bigger?
What? Is that in a store?
So this is a store in Philadelphia, where like a convenience store with sandwiches and potato chips, and this person here is
Oh,
asking
it's
the
getting
woman-
messy. It's getting really messy there.
There's
Now I
people
see.
in there just looting. They just come in and just take stuff.
Can
This is
you
happening
can
in
you, can
stores
you make it
everywhere.
full screen? I
I
think
can't make it full screen. You can't see it though.
we see it. It's kind of small, but I think we see it.
Anyway,
Basically,
the
they
point
just
is,
destroyed the inside there.
They
basically the
trashed
kids
whole
are the people
place.
come in. They do this. They take whatever they want. But
So this is a phenomenon now. This
Yeah,
is
let me
not
show you
like
one
an
more of the
in.
same-
It's not
no, it's
an
happening.
individual
It happens
event.
at jewelry stores. It happens at clothing stores. Look at this. The thing here, though, is now what's happening. Look at the age of the kids coming in, and they're smiling. So it's not like it's like it's fun. They're young. The youngest person who came in was 10 years old.
Oh no!
So
it's
look,
just
it's like a chill. It's like a social activity now. So what's happening is that it's so weird. What's happening is that the society is just the things that would hold it together are coming apart. So when Chris is saying that you would go and people would be against each other, there's just feelings that people feel like I can go into the store and just take what I want. And when you go with 50 people, there's like power behind that. Now, if someone tried to stop that, it could lead to violence. So it's not even based on where before it seemed like it was based on some kind of, it's probably why there's so much hatred towards Donald Trump, because when you have like a Hitler, when you have a person, like World War II,
there's there's a target to direct
No, you can blame.
all your
You can have something.
Right,
Here,
but
it's like,
really
what are you
all-
blaming?
all
Yeah.
of those things that you read in that letter, it's like not one person, it's everyone.
That's where I was
Where is-
going exactly, and I
There we
think
go.
they captured it here very well. This is why it's not a call again. And when you put all those, I'm sure they have a political view, okay, and it's probably even if you look clearly into the text, you'll even find it there. But when you put all of those threats, the climate crisis, the nuclear threat, the economic disparity, political distrust, the social polarization, everyone's getting unhappier and depressed, and mental illness is spreading. ADHD is growing. It's like when you put
And
all of
crime becomes like a social activity. Like it's not just
There you
that I'm
go.
depressed. Even it's like everything is becoming
the
undone.
norms, exactly. So when you put all of these together, clearly this is not the fault of this politician or that politician. The whole system's not working. Everything is shaky. The whole foundation of modern society is reaching. It's as if it passed some golden age where everything was just going up, and now it's going down. It is
You
going
you
in
leave
some
a fruit
downward
on
spiral.
on the tree for too long, it'll rot. Yeah, it'll rot. It
Exactly.
has a peak, and then it just gets bad after that.
And that makes, and once you're open to that, once you're open to the idea that it's not this or that person, this or that party, this or that ideology, but society is going through something as a whole, and it's a very global issue. Now you're open to looking at it from a different perspective. So here is what I'd like to do, guys. They if we go back to the article, what you wanted to throw something in before?
I just want to say that when I talk to someone about like we should all love each other, or that there should be peace among all of
went
these,
very fast, very okay, yeah.
I can hold it. It's like the obvious elephant in the room
What is?
that you're mocked and laughed at, just totally disregarded when you.
If you bring up the need for world peace?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, good idea. We definitely should have world peace.
Okay.
Well, they certainly didn't mention it in the article. I don't even think they mentioned any
towards the-
solution or anything.
No, but towards the end,
It's laughable. You almost like it's like you're looking at your pants, you're looking at the chocolate on your pants and the car seat, and you're like, world peace, and you just like take another bite of the chocolate. 'Cause
Exactly.
Only got
until-
20 years left to
Yeah.
live anyways. Might as well just.
yeah.
It's like, might as well just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Because
Okay,
what am I going to do
let's-
about all this?
Let's revisit this question in a bit. That's we can get to it from another perspective
Okay.
to add some shed more light into it. What do you say? All right, let's
Take me on your journey.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to do. They after this introduction, which they captured something here that is really the zeitgeist, the spirit of the time, and then they ask a question or three questions. Is it wishful thinking to imagine a future that can be redeemed? Pretty much what you were bringing up, Seth. It's pretty much the same question. Is it just wishful thinking to imagine a future that can be redeemed? Is it all too overwhelming? Has human dysfunction metastasized beyond our powers to cure? I think these are worthy questions, first of all. So let's do it. Let's go there to where you were actually wanting to go. Let's answer the question. Is it wishful thinking to imagine a future that can be redeemed? When you look at all that's happening, and then you want to think about a better future, how do you even go about that? Right? Is it not just
Well, if you want to.
yeah. Go ahead.
If you want to look at okay, so let's say that if I'm going to see a future that's been redeemed, I'm looking at the current situation. I say, what would make it better? Okay, well, the water is clean, people are educated, and everyone has money. That's what I see. But then the obvious questions are, how do you get there? So if you're asking the question, is it possible to be redeemed? Because yeah, you do want to get there, but the road to get there seems impossible. So that's when that's when you say, no, I don't really see a possible way to use the means that we have right now to fix every single problem, to go along the list, check all the little boxes along the list. We did this, we fixed that, That seems impossible. Yeah.
So why is it? So this takes us back to Seth's point. Let's take it another step forward. Why is it so impossible for us? Why does it seem so far-fetched to even suggest human beings getting along across the planet? It
I have
seems
an easy answer for that.
okay.
I have an easy answer for that. Okay, ask the question again.
Why is it so far-fetched to even suggest that human beings globally can learn to get along, or can just start getting along, or just organize,
Okay, good,
get our
good.
act
I'll tell you.
together,
I'll tell you.
organize the
I'll tell you why.
planet, stop
'Cause even when you
polluting,
have
give everyone what they
no,
need.
no, even when you have a good idea and you reset yourself, you go out into the day, and inevitably you have to deal with work. Then you didn't, you were going to pick up the birthday present for your wife, and everything was going to be great. But then there was an accident on the highway, and you couldn't get the gift, and now you're going to be late to the dinner. Like, it's just inevitably in our, I'm going to call it animal existence, because as Kabbalists we understand that there's some other dimension that we are yet to get to. But in this animal existence that we're all living, meaning in our bodies, waking up, having to eat, having to work, there's inevitably pressures on all of us all the time. And everyone is needs to survive. So we can't take care of everyone else because we have to take care of ourselves in order to survive. So there's 8 billion people trying to survive at the expense of everyone else, or trying to survive for themselves. It is impossible then for the system to feel harmonious.
Okay, so
I need to get home to my wife's birthday. You need to get home to yours. Chris needs to get home to his, and we're all on the highway at the same time.
And then
We're all running
after
late
that,
because
then
something
maybe
else
we can
happened at
start
work.
thinking about.
So who's going to
then
go
we can start
first?
thinking about it. Maybe.
Who are we going to let to go first? I
Yeah.
want you guys to go first. If I was calm and I didn't have anywhere to go, you could go first.
So
but I'm going to be late, and you're going to be late.
Right.
So now we're in competition for something that neither of us wanted to be in competition about. We just can't help it, and it happens about everything all day. We're all like that all the time.
So
Even when we don't
basically,
want to.
so in our world, in our physical, material existence and experience of the world, peace, global peace, world peace, all human beings getting along just sounds like a pipe dream. It sounds like it's on another dimension. So Kabbalistically,
On this dimension, it is a pipe dream. It's impossible. It can't be.
so
Inside of every cell is a plus force, and outside the cell is a minus force. That's just how the system is arranged, right?
right, but on
to
another,
talk about
but from
that
another
relation-
perspective, from a deeper perspective, the plus and the minus are complementary. The plus and the minus are actually.
we didn't get to complementary yet. We're talking about the
single
problem.
whole.
The problem is you have two forces that are constantly having friction between them, having some kind of relationship between them.
Okay, so how do we answer?
So we're seeing the friction. That's
Yeah.
what we're seeing. Yeah.
How do we answer then, Sam? What would be your answer to Sam? He's asking, is it wishful thinking to imagine a future that can be redeemed?
Sam and pretty much everyone else thinks that we're looking at a problem. Sam and everyone else thinks that we're looking at a world that's out of control. Sam and everyone else thinks that all we see is how everyone's exploiting everyone. What they're missing is the eternal perspective of what point we are on the map towards where we're going. And then all of the changes that we're going through, like change, you can count on change. Things are, when I was a kid, the father knew best. And,
Right. The only thing
we had
that's
organic
constant
food.
is change. Yeah.
There's no chemicals in our food. Yeah. Everything is constantly changing. We're not going back to the great 50s or the great, whatever it was, when we were anything. Everything is constantly changing. And in those changes, there's constant upheaval. And the problem is really us us trying to outsmart what nature's trying to do to us. Nature is trying to develop us in a certain direction. Sam and everyone else needs to kind of rise above the situation and see how else are we going to get the whole world to become one family? This is how actually nature does it.
I would add to it that a good future is a better future, a peaceful future is absolutely wishful thinking and nothing more than that. If we are thinking about it without, yeah, go ahead. What?
No, you mean it'll happen just by itself? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying it's wishful
out of it.
thinking. I'm saying it's you know, optimism that is not based in realism. I'm saying it's you know, it's unrealistic. In short, it's no more than wishful thinking if we think about it as us fixing the problem, us fixing the climate, or us fixing the economy, or us putting in more regulations that will prevent the smash and grabs that we're seeing in America these days, or us coming up with a pill that will make people better control their depression. All of those fixes will not solve our problems, but if we want to see a better future, we have to fix ourselves. That's where we need to go with our thinking about the future, about a better future. Because all of those situations that you have right now, whether it's the worsening political crisis or ecological crisis or economic crisis, all of these or depression, all of these have to do with the qualities of connections between human beings. It comes down to how we feel and experience each other and the whole human family, and that's where what everything hinges on. That's where the issue is.
There's so much excitement in it, because what we are missing completely, it's like all of a sudden, it's like, let's say you have $1 million
we are so
cash
missing it.
in your
We are
pocket.
so.
Yeah.
You know what's a crazy example I just saw? Just hold your thought. The NASA just sent they launched a mission to the DART thing. Yeah. So they exploded. How was it? They sent something to an asteroid, and they managed to to hit it and smash it or something. The idea is, and they did it. It's now something from the last week or something. And this is like an attempt. This is like NASA showing, look, this is what we'll do in a state of a crisis. If an asteroid comes our way, we can do that. And I'm like
billions upon trillions of asteroids.
That's what I'm saying. That's billions and billions of dollars and time and human ingenuity and creativity. And I'm like, wow, and everything is like going to hell here, on Earth. And I'm like, that shows you how far we are from looking at the problems head on, at the actual problem, which is ourselves, our attitude to each other, our lack of connection to each other, our lack of
I'm so
concern for each
excited by
other.
this. There's so much, not about NASA's project. I'm so excited.
No, we know you're not excited about NASA.
There's so much. It's like you had $1 million in your pocket, but you didn't know about it. And you went through a desert, and then you went, not a desert, there's nothing to buy in a desert. I don't know. You went through a really, really hard time, or you had it was under a floorboard in your house. And one day you heard some noise, you tried to fix the floor, and you found $1 million. You're like, it's all of a sudden everything that you've been through changes, like all your perspective on anything. It's all this treasure is in our hands, and not only are we talking,
it's under our noses.
Let me show you something else that one of my kids showed me, which is so cool. And the reason I want to show you this is because there's a field. Each of us, everything on the planet, everything has a field. I don't know if you want to call it a field of energy. There's a field around all of us.
Yeah, we
There's
exist
thoughts.
in a field. Absolutely.
Yeah,
you can put it like that.
Thoughts pass between us. Not only that, when
everything that we think
lot.
about as everything that we think of as individual thoughts, individual desires, individual behaviors, all of it is us fluctuating in a
Picking
collective
up from
field.
others' fields and our
Exactly.
fields. Exactly.
And
right.
there's a domino effect that keeps going on between humans, and we share each other's norms and behaviors and attitudes and feelings and thoughts and desires. We're in a sea that's constantly, we're just not, it's a very funny thing. Okay, just go ahead, because I got another tangent in my
Hold it,
mind.
you're going to get even more excited after I show you this video. So Rabash, our teacher's teacher, most incredible Kabbalist who wrote this wisdom in language we can understand, explains that when you get together with a similar field, the field expands in power.
Yes.
So you can even see it like in a sports, or you can see it with certain kind of athletes who have this kind of X factor.
I would even go as far as saying all that Kabbalists did really, all that they discovered, they disclosed, is how to relate to each other in a way that we can make use of the field
Right. Put the right thoughts in the field and come together so the power gets bigger.
It's just, they're not doing, it's nothing supernatural, it's nothing mystical, it's just
all
laws
natural
of
forces that
nature
exist.
between us. Exactly. Just let's configure ourselves in relation to each other in a way that it flows between us differently. That's
And
something,
you're not reinventing
that's it.
anything. You're not creating anything new.
You don't
You're
have
just
to blow
looking
anything
at what's
up.
happened already there, and you just use it yourself. But we just don't know how. We're not seeing it. But let me see this example, because I'm excited. You're
this
leaving
is
me on the
not.
edge of my seat.
This is awesome. It's not even spiritual, but it's so obvious everywhere. We've seen it with the starling birds. We always show. that
these
example.
fields work on every level. It's
Check this out. Check this out. I can make this one full screen, I think. Okay, you see that, right?
Yeah, we see that.
Gotcha.
So it's like sympathetic resonance in basketball. That's so cool if you think about the reactions that people have at the same time, because they're influenced by the same kind of atmosphere, the same environment.
They're
the same
there, yeah. They're kind of
situation.
like outside of themselves, and they're into this. They're in like this more of like a, you could say, team spirit. You know, they're all like, they're not really thinking about. They're thinking about the whole kind of moving as a team, and not thinking about themselves, right?
They're
kind of
playing
snap
ball
out of yourself and enter into something else.
Yeah, just by playing ball, they're basically putting themselves under a shared influence.
But
They're
the
playing
fans,
the same
the thing
game.
with the fans, the two fans, did the same thing at the same time. The coach did the thing.
That was
it's
cool.
very cool.
And
a very
it's
cool
just,
example.
and it's happening all the time around us. Not only that, we're all every day feeling things that we could do and be in that resonance with others, but we don't understand that that's what's happening. Because we're not, people always ask when we study like Pticha and the Talmud Esther Sfirot, they're like, what is spiritual? Why is everything science? No, but when you start to kind of organize your thoughts and everything, then as you have all these feelings, that they kind of fit somewhere now, and you can start to see the structure.
Yeah. I'll tell you where it meets me really in like a relatable way. There's a question that keeps coming back when I'm meeting with like people, relatives that know that I'm practicing Kabbalah every day, and sometimes in some situations they go like, okay, so every day you hear something new? Why are you doing this every day? Like every day is there like new, how much is there how much wisdom is there to like learn? How much more do you need to learn? And I'm like, no, that's totally not what we're doing. Like we're not sitting there filling our brains. We're like building a field of connection between us that raises our intentions to a new level. And that's what we're doing every day. We're like creating such a feedback loop between us that elevates the way you see the world, the way you sense yourself, the way you sense others and nature and everything around you. But you can't show that. You can't explain that.
But wait a second. So if you go back to the question that they were asking, is it hopeful thinking? Is it wishful thinking? Then you look at it again, you say, right, of course it's wishful thinking to think that it's going to happen like that. Of course it's not going to happen going through the checklist, like you said, climate, economy, healthcare. You're not going to fix them like that, right? Okay, so yeah, that's impossible. But now let's say that there's some kind of something, right? There's some, do we say dimension? There's some dimension, right? That if we tap into it a little bit, if we can touch it a little bit, right?
Peace sounds so otherworldly because it's literally on another dimension. That's
There you go.
that is basically the situation,
So
and
it can
that's why
exist, but it's just somewhere else.
not just it can, it does, it already is. We're already it's a reality that's already around us, if you will. It's all around us, but we're outside of it. And that's why if we're thinking about the future getting better without us changing ourselves, moving to another dimension in our thoughts, desires, intention, moving to actually another perception of the world, then it's possible. Otherwise, it's just wishful thinking at best. That's how I would summarize our response to
I would
So
say
then,
that
so
to Sam. Okay,
Go
you
ahead,
want to go?
Chris.
You want to take
Go ahead.
another question from? Yeah. Okay, Chris, you
I'm
were
listening.
saying? You were in the middle of something.
I don't know. It's gone now. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So the
I'm
the
listening.
next question is it all too overwhelming? Just everything that's
Yes.
happening, is it? Yeah, I don't know what I would add to that. It's just a yes.
There
It's
was
absolutely
I saw
overwhelming.
there was about that there was a recent survey. I forgot who put it out, where they said that they found out that people just stopped watching the news altogether, even if it had nothing to do with them. Somehow, in a roundabout way, it was adding to their stress, even if it didn't concern them at all. Which is kind of interesting because there's no such thing as not concerning me. It's somehow affecting me in some way, hidden way or another, like, behind a thousand, doors. But they stopped watching it completely because it felt like it was causing, some kind of negative, anxiety that they would feel, even if it was unrelated completely. So then they disconnect from the news completely and have no idea what's going on. But for them, it's a better state than being knowing what's going on and being anxious about it. So they just disconnect from completely from it. It's like the new.
So
It's like
so
the new.
so
It's the
basically
new way of handling the world.
the
I don't want
greater
it to know about anything.
the greater the problem, the less I'm concerning myself with it, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And not
So
intentionally, but just that if there's a problem and I know that I can't do anything about it, I know there's no way for me to fix the rainwater. So why am I even gonna go and like concern myself with that? Why
okay,
am I gonna add some extra layer?
but look at how, again, I agree 100%, and absolutely, when you just list all these problems, it's just too much to take for anyone, not just for the average Joe, like for anyone, be them whether it's a politician, a leader, a world leader, whatever. All of these problems, that is just too much to deal with. This is the beauty of the map that Kabbalists reveal to us, that all of these branches, these problems, they have a single root, and that root problem is something that we can all do something about. Equally, as crazy as this sounds, it doesn't matter if you're a farmer or a world leader. It doesn't matter if you're a computer dude or a designer or cleaning the streets or whatever it is you're doing. It doesn't matter. If you're a part of the human network, you have a singular, unique contribution to give to the positivity in the network. And you have free choice in the matter. You have some free willed participation of your intention for the whole system. And that's a it's such a different approach to all of the challenges that we have. Just going to the root rather than trying to put band-aids on this and this and this and this and this. It's just a whack-a-mole game that never stops.
So I'm wondering here, like, is the solution in the mind or is the solution in the heart? And it seems that, I'm always thinking, like, how do we explain this more clear? How do we explain this more clear? You can't just do just the heart, and you obviously can't do just the mind, because then you don't feel anything, and everyone needs to feel. People need, like, just this kind of basketball video. You need just enough in the mind, in the understanding that there is a field. You need to give someone enough, because otherwise it just seems, there's nothing to hold on to. We need to
Yes.
present through like the nature clips you do and things like of that sort to show that there are fields, and then to show how somehow that we just need to participate in this. It's already happening. We have to get into it. The emotional part is it's completely, I mean, without what we're talking about as a solution, it's impossible. It's totally, I mean, your question was, is it overwhelming? Yeah, I'm completely overwhelmed by this. Without this, what we're studying, what we're talking about, where are you going to come up with a solution to every single problem,
Right.
to food, to climate, to every single thing? The problems are just escalating at such a rate. The depression is
Yeah.
escalating at such a rate. Suicide.
You know what? In truth, when we talk about it again and again, but I'm seeing that it's true that we have a very different perception of the world and reality. We feel everything that's happening, but in a very different way. Because beyond the surface, if I just saw just the headlines, just what you said right now, I really don't understand how people live, how people go through their day and watch the news and don't get like
driving through New York,
crazy
I'm thinking to myself,
scared
how
and
is
depressed.
how is everybody not just freaking out? The only way is to just keep eating the chocolate. Like, you have to just keep feeding yourself some kind of dopamine hit or some
Right,
kind of
whether yeah,
food
like
or
more
some kind of
give me something
something.
else in the feed. Give me just
Something.
just
But you
throw
can't
something
blame him.
else.
You
at me.
can't blame
No,
him.
I
There's no-
don't.
There's no
can't.
thought.
No,
There's
no,
no
no,
thought
no.
even to go, where's that other dimension? First of all,
It's
tell me, I didn't know there was
instinctual.
another dimension where peace can
Right.
exist. And I
And
don't even know where to
basically-
look for that.
So you end up, so from all of humanity, you end up with, it's just those, a few scientists or, like intellectuals or, people that are somehow, what they do in life has to do with looking at the bigger picture. And everyone else, or most people, or a lot of people out of
Right.
everyone else, is really just trying to not look. Because whenever you look, it's too overwhelming.
They're
It's
trying not to
what
look.
can
That's what
I
I'm saying.
do?
They're trying not to look.
And
yeah.
Or even if
culture
they look-
and human
Hold on, let me
culture.
add-
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll add another layer on it. When you look, one of the knee-jerk reactions, which also prevents us from finding a real solution, is like, it's Putin's fault,
Right.
or it's this one's fault, or what's the girl, the Greta, it's like
He's
it's
just a
carbon's
bad
fault.
apple. If we get him
Isn't
out,
carbon-
everything
Yeah.
will be okay.
Isn't carbon the stuff that's like in my Pellegrino? Isn't CO2 what's in my? Isn't CO2?
And
what all
isn't it the
plants
basis
breathe?
the basis of all organisms? By the way.
Yeah, isn't the basis of everything right? So like, what do you mean that's the biggest problem? Maybe we're just, as soon as we are pointing at like a person,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something like that, then we cut ourselves off
Yes.
from actually being able to find the answer, because
and we're misreading reality from a Kabbalistic perspective. The moment you separate one thing from another, you're already wrong. Reality is a unity between the observer and everything that is observed and the one force connecting them. Or in other words, in our practice, it's me, the others, and what we call the creator or the governing force of nature. And so the moment you separate and say, no, there's this and there's that, this is what we call, again, this will sound like weird language, but this is what we call other gods in the work, or like the other side. Again,
practicing idolatry, etc.
exactly. This is what Kabbalists were referring to, is always seeing, always making an effort. It's an intentional, conscious effort that one needs to do to always see reality as one. All people, all things, all of the still, vegetative, animate, human, all of it is a single reality. There is a single program that connects and binds together all the elements in reality and yourself. It just pushed our consciousness out of it so we can consciously go back to it and attain the mind of it.
That's good, because you're saying consciously, because whenever you say consciously, it's not like that means I'm having to put some kind of calories into that action of me doing that work that you're saying. I automatically wake up in the morning, I'm seeing separate things. I'm not seeing one reality where everything's connected. I'm seeing
That's
everything
right.
that I'm used to seeing, right?
That's your
Okay, so
instinctive,
to get to
immediate. Yeah.
that's my instinctive. So
Yeah.
to get to this other thing, to get to, let's say, the peace, it's so easy. Let's the reality where everything is harmonious and peaceful and people are considering each other. If I want to get to that, what kind of
Only a change of
energy
consciousness
am I
will
using?
take
What
us
kind of
there.
calories am I burning?
Your heart, your mind. That's all that nature wants from us. Our attention, our intention. This is the funniest thing. Also, we're going to see. Look, all of those problems that we listed, there is no actual problem. The problem is that we're polluting the planet. It's not that the climate is in crisis. It's not that the world is polluted. Earth is dying. We are killing it. You know what I mean? Like this, the same thing with, like, political distrust. We don't trust each other. We can't trust each other. We don't trust our leaders. We don't trust our media, and so on. The issues are about how we relate to reality, to each other as parts of the same reality. That's where the problem lies. It's on the human level. It's on the level of relating to each other and to all of nature.
Because if I saw that we was that I was somehow stabbing myself by pouring some whatever chemical into the ocean, I obviously
you wouldn't do it, of course. And that's exactly what we're not seeing. And I think it's going to become more and more evident, but though, because nature's helping us with making us globally interdependent. Like even now, these nuclear threats that we're seeing now, hopefully we'll understand it sooner than later, meaning before some nuke explodes somewhere, that's not going to work for no one, not in the long run. You drop a nuke on someone, immediately that affects the world economy. Immediately that affects all kinds of other threads connected to you back again. That's what the world has become. One global interdependent super organism, and it's governed by one program. And so we have to feel that. We have to perceive that. We have to consciously move to that reality and actually consciously pursue it.
But actually, all we need to do is kind of, quote unquote, go to the basketball game, because when we're together with a little bit of knowledge,
okay, nice.
The action happens by itself when we're included. If you want to go surfing, right? You're only surfing on the waves that are there, and everyone else is only surfing on the waves that's there. Nobody's making their own wave. Nobody's going to do something with with the laws of physics that you can't do on a wave. You're going to do, and when the waves stop, when the tide goes out or whatever happens, then the surfers go get a sandwich or go hang out and talk. Like everyone comes to the basketball game. You're in the flow with everyone. You're doing the thing. So we need a small amount of knowledge to understand how it works. We need a small amount of knowledge to understand what we need to do when we get together, how to kind of perceive it together. What is the structure here? And then it's fun and comfortable because we all feel good together because it's happening. We feel better than we ever felt before. We actually feel alive. We feel purpose. We feel like we're living for something. And we see around us that everybody else is too. And it's contagious, and our emotions start multiplying because it's one thing, you hear something funny. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to tell someone else. Like, who can I tell this joke to, And it starts to multiply. And it's really... It's not complicated.
We make it complicated. It's a paradoxical thing, though. Yeah, it's so simple that it's complicated. For us, it's complicated. The guys, we gotta conclude here in a minute, right? Let's do a last exercise here. There's another last question that they write at the very end of the article. So again, most of it. By the way, you can go. Someone was asking on the chat.
I put the link.
Okay. So you put the link there. Okay. So and if you go futurism.com and look for it, you'll probably find it. So so at the very end of the article, they still come down to second to last sentence. This question. Let's try to answer it in a summarized way, one sentence or something like that from each of us. What will it take for us to unite in defense of the home we all share?
To feel that it's a home that we all share instead of just my home.
Yeah, either suffering from behind, you know, nuclear holocaust would hopefully people would realize that's not a good thing that we want to happen, or a compelling future. So I think we have to be able to talk about how good about some kind of compelling future that is possible for us and designed for us, and we are designed for it.
It's more than a sentence, but it's I find value in it. Yeah, I don't have more to add. It's either great suffering or great education, or some mix between the both. And hopefully more on the education side.
Let's really
rather
hope
than-
that we, because we can see that it's possible for us to move if we really have like a fire on our butt. Let's really hope that it doesn't get to that point to where we feel really a lot of pain and suffering, and then we're ready to move. Let's hope that we don't take that route.
All right, I have a concluding few words for everyone who's watching us. Every moment that we dedicate together to raising the importance of feeling our connection to each other, raising the importance of climbing up to a higher reality where we're all one, of strengthening that muscle of intention for hoping for the best for all of mankind and for everyone around us and for all of reality. Every moment we do that, and it's that moment saves a lot of suffering, because it prevents all kinds of influences in the world from materializing to push us to that realization. Instead of that, instead of those pushing forces, we're spreading positive forces that pull humanity to that inevitable future of connection between us. So I want to thank all our viewers for being with us, making that effort. Moment here, a moment there, everything counts. Kabbalists call it putting your sesame seed on the scale. Every moment you have an opportunity to put another sesame on the scale, and they add up. They add up, and that's what really changes the world. That's what shifts the world to the scale of merit. If we keep doing it together, we got a lot of work to do. So thank you everyone for being with us.
Bye, everyone.
Thursday,
Good luck to us all.
2 p.m. Eastern next week. Bye-bye.
Beyond the border, there's a song that plays, and in our hands we have a choice that waits.